Hey guys, Ryan here, and today on this very special episode of Running with the Pack, we actually got a chance to sit in on an interview with Carson Kvapil, who NASCAR Xfinity Series driver. He's been running part-time for Junior Motorsports this year in the number 88 car, including he will be running on track later this weekend in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race from there. So look forward to him on the track, and massive thank you to JP, who went through the trouble of actually getting the interview set up and let me actually sit in on the interview. So, and obviously thank you to Carson Kvapil for volunteering his time today to come and talk to us. So let's go ahead and go right into the interview.
Hello and welcome to Full Follow. With me today, I have Carson Kvapil and Ryan Dyer. How we doing, fellas?
Pretty good. How y'all doing?
Doing pretty good.
So Carson, thanks for coming on first, and I'll let Ryan go first with his part.
All right. I was kind of expecting JP was going to lead it off, but okay. Let me go ahead and pull up my questions here. So I guess I'll lead it off with the question here, talking about your Xfinity Series start so far. You've made 7 of them. How are you feeling so far in terms of getting used to the car?
Yeah, I feel like, it's tough at times. I feel like there's some tracks that's like Martinsville. It's all right. Like it's just learning the car. It's a little different, but really the biggest thing for me is going to places like Indianapolis and Michigan that are way bigger than anything I've ever been on. It just takes quite different disciplines, and the cars drive differently than they do on short tracks and stuff like that. They're just different. I mean, the aerodynamics with these cars is so much more important than the late model stuff I'm used to. So that's really, I'm just trying to get used to all that.
All right.
So, Carson, one of my questions is, who do you think is your biggest role model in racing?
I'd say my biggest role model is probably my dad, honestly. I feel like that's really the reason why I got into it, right? I mean, I thought normal life for any other kids going to the racetrack every weekend. That was just normal for me, right? So I kind of just grew up being at racetracks and being around race cars all the time. And it was just normal to me. So, I mean, obviously going to the track with him, being on the pit box and getting to see that progression is probably really what did it for me. Or just seeing him do what he did and hang out with him, it just, I guess, steered me to do that.
So, uh, so Carson, so I guess my next question would be, uh, who who do you think is going to win the championship and cup?
This year, you're saying?
Yes.
I would say it's tough, man. All those guys are so good. There's so many. Every driver in the Cup Series is a really good, accomplished driver. So, man, it's so tough. I feel like there's some teams that are better than others right now, and obviously all the drivers are really good. So, honestly, it's so tough. Honestly, I'm not really in with all the points and all that and stuff like that. But there's obviously there's a handful of guys that run week in and week out that get 10 for wins, get wins, and I think really any of those guys have a good shot, truthfully.
Not to mention there's still a win in your in spot if one of the drivers can win Darlington.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, uh, going, so, your 88 team, who, do you love working with Gillian Motorsports, and what has Gillian meant to your racing career?
Yeah, I love working with the 88 group, honestly. Those guys, it's not to say that it's not right, but they're kind of the extra team, right? It's just kind of the extra guys and the extra cars they have laying around. They do it right. It's not but by no means is it not good stuff. It's just as good as what Allgaier has and what the one car has. and whatnot. But it's just it's pretty awesome to see the 88, the part-time car, whether it's me or it's Connor Zilich or Connor Mozak running it, Bubba Pollard. It's cool to see it run up front just because it's not the full-time car, so it doesn't quite have the resources as the main team does. But Junior, to me, man, he's done so much for me. Honestly, I felt like whenever I came over to run his late model into 21, I was kind of starting to think about my future out of driving race cars before it happened, honestly, just in the fact that I was driving for my dad. It was a family team. We raced super late models, and that was as far as I was going to go, really, with what we had, resource-wise and money-wise with my dad. So I was kind of getting thinking on it. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't have any options, really. I was just going to keep running a super and eventually go work on race cars for the rest of my life. And getting the opportunity when Josh moved out of the late model to drive the late model it's been a career changer for me, of course. I mean, just getting the success we've had with this late model team has been huge. And then obviously running good in the late model, winning races, it just opens up the door for the Xfinity starts. And just been super fortunate to be where I am. And there's a lot of people that I got to thank to put myself in this position.
Yeah. So let's see, Ryan.
Yeah, so my next question was actually going back into talking about your teammates there a little bit as you're getting ready for this Darlington race weekend. How much are you leaning on them and their experience, in particular, looking at the fact that Justin Allgaier's won here multiple times, including earlier this year?
Yeah, I definitely lean on Allgaier quite a bit at the racetrack. I mean, obviously he won the spring race that I was in, so I'm sure he knows what he needs to do, right? He's won multiple times there, so definitely lean on him. And really, as a team, we lean on each other. Really, I mean, it's obviously I get to talk to Allgaier and see what he's doing in this corner and what I need to do different, but we get to compare a lot of notes and get to compare setup and really see who's different and what we need to change, what changes did good things, what didn't. So it's more than just being able to lean on him as a driver per se.
All right.
So, do you think my next question has to do with that too? Do you think those guys lean on you, or you lean on them mostly?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like right now I'm leaning on all the other teammates quite a bit, just because those guys have so much experience and they run week in and week out. So it's kind of their normal everyday job, right? Whereas for me, getting to run an Xfinity race, I only get to do it a handful of times across the year, so it's a little bit green to me. Everything's a little different, so I definitely lean on them. Obviously, there's a few things. If we have a good car, they can lean on us, but from a driver standpoint, I lean on Allgaier mainly and Sam Mayer and all those guys quite a bit during the weekend.
Okay. So yeah, and then kind of bouncing off of that with Chase Elliott in the 17 car this week, is there any advice or advantage to be gained by potentially working with him, since I believe there's an affiliation there with Junior Motorsports, even though it's technically the Hendrick Motorsports team, and even just from being able to race one of the Cup guys on the racetrack?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can definitely lean on the 17 car as from a team standpoint for sure. I mean, just like having another teammate, really, we get to see what they're running and talk to the crew chiefs, talk to the driver, and just get some info from them. And from a driver standpoint, I can lean on them too, right? But I feel like I have enough resources in my back pocket with my main teammates that I can. But definitely from team standpoint or setup standpoint.
All right.
So, talk to us about your relationship with the 88 team. How well do you know the guys, and I guess who do you think the biggest influence for you to have a good run is on that 88 team this weekend in Darlington?
Yeah, I mean, the 88 group, first, obviously, it's always like this, but you don't really know the guys, and you're kind of you're dipping your toes in there. You don't want to don't want to say nothing to nobody, right? But I feel like now we've ran. I think it's been 7 races probably we've ran. I believe it's number 7 right now. That I've ran with these guys, and I've worked with Andrew Overstreet, the crew chief, quite a bit. Last year, even with running that truck for Spire. So I feel like those guys, I've got to know them pretty well. Me and Overstreet know each other, work together, pretty hand in hand. Honestly, we do a lot of sim work together throughout the week, and obviously the track. So those guys, I mean, I feel like I know them all pretty well, and we're all pretty comfortable with each other, and it's definitely good to have a good group around you.
All right. So, Carson, I always like to end my interviews with, what do you want people to be known? What do you want people to know you for? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest thing is just I work on my stuff. I mean, I feel like there's not a lot of drivers nowadays that, I mean, there are, but I mean, there's successful drivers that don't, but I feel like just me working on the stuff along with the team. Obviously, the Xfinity stuff is not so much, just because there's enough guys to make the team run, right? Where the late model stuff here with Junior, there's only the crew chief and me and one other kid that's here working on cars that race about the same amount of times as the Xfinity car. So I mean, growing up, I've always worked on my race cars. I've always known how to turn wrenches, and I kind of feel like it plays into how I race other people. Just knowing if you go out there and tear up a car, how much work goes into it. So that's really the biggest thing. It's just a lot of hours in the shop for me, and I feel like it's really helped me in my career so far.
you got any follow-up final questions, Ryan?
I've got one final question for you. Where do you anticipate you finishing at Darlington this weekend in terms of an actual finishing position?
Man, I don't know. Honestly, that's honestly probably our worst race of the year was Darlington earlier in the year, and I feel like it wasn't all the team, it wasn't all me, right? I felt like we were all just a little off. Our pit crew wasn't the best that day. I think our last pit stop with I don't quote me, but 10 or 15 laps to go, we lost like 8 or 9 spots on pit roads. So it just overall really wasn't a good day for us. The car wasn't the greatest. We've had a better car at other tracks, but I'd be happy with the top 10. Really, I feel like we were capable enough. I think we got our car changed around a little bit, and obviously I've done a race there before, so I feel like I'm going to be way more prepared. I feel like the car is going to be better. I no doubt think we can go run top 5, but I'd say the realistic goal for me is in the top 10.
All right. Well, I certainly think that's a realistic goal.
Yeah, and one final question from me.
Yep.
And I just want to know, um, what do you think about where do you feel like you could get your first win at coming up?
Man, that's it. That's a little tough question, I guess. I mean, I feel like obviously Darlington's more of a short track, I guess you could say. It drives more like a short track, so I have no doubt that we could go obviously run top 5 and hope for a top 10. But man, we went to Indianapolis, we went to Michigan, we went to Dover. Really, mainly Michigan and Dover in particular, where I felt like we have a good shot at winning the race. And obviously Dover, we were right there racing for the win on the last
finish
start. Yep, that one that still stings.
I remember. Yep.
Yeah, I mean we had a car that could win the race, and if it would have changed, cautions went a little different, if restarts would have went a little different, we'd be the winner. So same thing with Michigan. I felt like obviously we led 30 maybe laps or so, and we had a really, really fast car. Just our pitch strategy didn't work out. So honestly, I feel like either one of the next 2 races that I have left for this year is a shot to win. I mean, I think Darlington, obviously, Allgaier had a really good speed in the spring, and I feel like if we come back a little bit better prepared with more experience, I think we're gonna have a shot to win Darlington.
All right.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have. So thank you, Carson, for taking the time to come on and thank Ryan Dyer for hosting this interview with me. This has been Justin Putzer with Full Throttle. Goodbye, everyone.
Alright, and just a real quick outro because I felt like saying something here at the end. Massive thank you to Carson for letting me sit in on that interview. Again, thank you to JP for helping get it, for really just getting it set up and letting me join in on it. But looking forward to seeing how Carson does on track at Darlington this weekend. But until next time, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next video. Live stream, whatever you guys decide to do with the rest of your day. Have a great day, everybody, and goodbye!